So that was so much fun. I thought I'd try another one, eh? I'm back. It's day 2. And what do I have to speak about today? Well, I guess I need to speak about structure and, as opposed to winging it. So most of my life, I have winged things. I've just kind of not really had a plan, kind of like a leaf blowing through the wind or on the river and just going. And when I dealt with the rapids, I come to the rapids, I deal with them, and they'd be rough or tumultuous or whatever and get me into trouble, but I'm a survivor and I'd get through it, and back I'd go, back on the river, back on the wind, blah blah blah. Long story short, winging it versus having structure. I come to know now that having a little bit of structure is good because it helps keep you on point, helps keep you on track, helps to keep you focused, especially when you want to be using your voice. You don't want to be coming on here going blah, 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 and being like a, complete whirlwind. So although I didn't script anything for this video, and I am kind of winging it, allowing myself to speak and to get the voice that was in my head circulating out into a place where I can hear my voice outside of my head. You see, that's why a lot of people, when they hear themselves on a recording or on the microphone or something, they're just like, I don't like the way that my voice sounds, right? And I've always intuitively known why this is because you hear the voice that's in your head, through the confines of your skull, and your voice is vibrating in your skull, right? But then when you hear it outside of yourself, you're hearing it just the way everyone else hears it from an outside source. And it doesn't quite sound the same. It's like if you plug your ears and you're talking, or your ears are plugged, right? And it sounds all kind of like muffled. But anyway, that's what it is. It is what it is. So I'm not really shy about hearing my voice. It's nothing about that. It's never been about that. It's just about speaking the thoughts that I want to speak in a logical, tangible, sort of flowing kind of way. And with that would require some planning and not always being on the cuff or being spontaneous. And it has its benefits, right? So it really does. But I think what I'm learning now pretty quickly is that moving forward, I am going to write down a couple of thoughts, a couple of themes of what I want to, talk about, discuss. Because there's shitloads to talk about in this world. Let me tell you, don't even get me started. This could probably end up being a long, babbling 10-minute, 20-minute video. And if it is, so be it, right? What's the harm in that? There's nothing. There's no harm in that. What matters most is that I'm coming on here and I'm speaking my truth and I'm using my voice. And if one person hears it, great. 2 people hear it, great. Hey, who knows, right? But you got to start from somewhere. Every journey begins with one step. And in this time that we're living in right now, the pandemic or plandemic, however you see it, I'm not really hard on one side or the other. I've always kind of stayed in a kind of a neutral sort of state, but I'm also a logical person, and I know a lot of the stuff is not really making sense, which has caused me to think, which has caused me to stay inside my head and researching and fact-checking and trying to be intuitive about it all, and what does this all mean? And it kind of gets away from you when you don't have these conversations or speak your truth, and it just kind of cycles and festers inside of you. And I think I got to that point where I am actually not even afraid of the virus per se. It's never been about the virus. It's about how much society and our freedoms have changed in the process. being naturally intuitive and I think introverted, the lockdown is actually kind of comfortable, but I also have, well, when I go out to go shopping or when I'm going out places, being restricted in things where, you have to wear the mask, it does, like, I get it. You're trying to help other people, and that's the narrative that was kind of put in there for people like myself, because I felt like, you know what, I'm not sick, I don't need to wear one. But when you preface it of being like, you're not helping yourself, you're helping others, well, then it pulls on my heartstrings, right? Because I never wanted to hurt anybody or cause harm to anybody. But still, I'm like, it doesn't make sense because I'm not sick. So what am I not protecting you from? It's just a whole big, huge narrative that's just gone way over the top crazy. And if any of this resonates with you, great. And if it doesn't, turn off the video. Like, I really don't give two shits, really, what anyone thinks. I know in my heart I'm a good person. I do what I can to keep myself, my family, and others safe. But I'm not going to sit here idly by and allow all my freedoms to be taken away from me. So freedom of speech, freedom of voice seems to be coming under scrutiny now as well too. I was doing some posting on Instagram and Twitter a little while ago, in an effort to try to use my voice, but not really using my voice. And I was speaking about the child trafficking, human trafficking that's been happening for a really long time, but now it seemed to be coming up, right? As so many other things seem to be coming up, and it's quite ironic and fascinating how this is all 2020 been a year of all this stuff uplifting and coming out and having to be dealt with, right? Because like, there's only so far you can go on running a system that's not working efficiently and properly until you need to do some modifications, and you need to make some corrections, and you need to, well, it's like building, it's like having, an old house, right? Are you going to put brand new amazing renovations on top of a house that has a poor foundation? So I think our society has a lot of cracks in its foundation, and this stuff is coming up, and one of them being the child sex trafficking, obviously the racial issues, all that stuff. And I take a very neutral stance on that. I love everybody and everything, and I never want to see anybody get hurt, but I also don't like to see people in hate and in divide. Anyways, part of my story is that I was posting on Twitter, Save the Children, and I had also done that on Facebook as well too, and I found myself being censored and shut down. My accounts were suspended. I never promoted any hate. All I was promoting was awareness, and passively using my voice. And it made me start to think that, it's we're wanting to be silenced for speaking for what we know is true in order to be forced to follow this narrative. And it still doesn't seem right. It really doesn't. And we have to find ways within our being to express and to say, no, we're not going to have any of that. I don't want to live in a world that's like that. We need to communicate about it. A lot of people don't know about it. And what you don't know, you don't see, and therefore it keeps going, right? So I sat with it, for a while and accepted it and stopped posting such stuff. And here and there I'll post some stuff on my Instagram, right? But I even created a different account that mostly strangers follow and but not posting my truth on my own personal. Now, why do I do that? Well, because I guess there's a fear of what the essence is there's a fear of being judged my own self or thought of harshly or losing friends. But in the grand scheme of things, I work really well on my own, and I work well. I have seemingly worked well alone. So losing friends really wouldn't be an issue to me, and I'm stronger and wiser enough to know that if that were the case, then those people weren't my friends in the first case, right? I get it. And I'm saying a lot, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm learning. I'm growing. I thank you for watching if you're still watching. I am going to be speaking more about topics that are being discussed now, and allowing myself to work through those thoughts that are in my head and getting them out into a public forum. And those who resonate with it, fantastic. If it inspires you to speak your truth, even better. But the main goal of this project that I've started is for me to get those thoughts out. Because thoughts and the emotions, I know, dear ones, are energy. And you can't destroy energy. And you can't keep it suppressed for long without it doing any harm. So that's what I got for today. And as I come along and grow into this, I'm so excited to be able to share more stuff with you and show more of my personality. Not just you, just show it, just to be it, just to live it, to be Kat, to awaken again and again and again and again. And maybe start to talk about more things that I've come across on my journey. And again, not from a place of bragging or going back, because now is now, and I recognize that, and I'm in this now space and moving forward into a new being, a new life. Because as I said in the previous video, the world is over. That world in my head is over. And I'm preparing the foundation for the new me, the new world, the new being in a higher state of consciousness. And many people are waking up to this. And it's been happening, I know, since I've been on my awakening journey for the last 4.5 years. And it just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think there's going to be a lot of truths that come out that are going to rock people's world, and they're going to blindside them, and they're not going to know what to do. But I'm not afraid of that. What I'm afraid of is staying silent and innocently standing by and continuing to wear that figurative mask. And I don't want to look back in 20 years and say I didn't do a damn thing about it. I kept silent. I kept it to myself. So, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Speaking my truth more and more every day. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Oh my gosh, that seems so robotic. That's okay. It's only video number 2, right? So I wish you all the best today, and I love you. Thanks for watching.